While many of you guys come to this channel for advanced defensive tips to counter the metas in Madden and college football, I'm also good for some off-meta barber dots, if you will. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys a universal concept out of trips formations that you can use to create your own hot route tree for the middle receiver. You see, this trick with the middle receiver in trips formations allows you to take him from a slot receiver where he's going to get the traditional hot routes such as zigs and other slot receiver routes, but also be able to access outside receiver hot routes with a motion concept that turns him into the new outside receiver. And there's some pretty off meta ways that you can beat zone and man coverage with this trick. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, get out your pen and pad, and let's get after it. Now, before we get crazy deep into this trick, let's get the formation rules out of the way. You must have a trips formation. That means 3 receivers that are not attached to the offensive line. So a great starting point for this is going to be the trips tight end. This is a very popular formation online. You're going to face a rendition of this all the time, no matter what playbook your opponent is running. They probably have something like a trips tight end or a trio or a tray Y flex or a trips tight end flex. The rule is the receivers must be off or away from the offensive tackle, meaning not lined up in a tight end role. In other words, if I were to choose a trips formation like this one where it says Y off trips, if the Y or the tight end is part of the trips, this trick will not work. It must have detached wide receivers. So if you wanted a formation like the Y off trips, but not exactly the same alignment, you would just call regular trips where that tight end lines up in a more receiver role than a tight end role. So let's go ahead and get into exactly how this works. I'm going to call trips tight end here, and we're going to start off with just a simple zone beater. Of course, we all know that cover 4 is the #1 concept most players run online. If I pull up the hot route tree for DeAndre Hopkins here, you will see that he's got your traditional slot receiver hot routes, which include your short cross, wheel, zig, deep cross, etc., etc. This is pretty good. A lot of players love the zig route, of course. A lot of players will put that on the field, and then they will put like a deeper outbreaking, speed out over the top of that. And when they snap the ball, a lot of times they'll look to throw that. Otherwise, they'll throw the out route. Now, here's the problem. The out route's a little bit tougher to fit against a cover 4 defense, especially the wide side of the field where so many players like to run trips formations. The other thing is that sometimes this zig route doesn't get as open as you might want it to. So we didn't really have either of these 2 options open. So a lot of players from there will say, all right, well, I'm going to run a little bit of a different modification of this hot route combo. So I'm going to put my speed out on the field, and then I'm going to put a streak here, and then I'm going to put a zig here. And this is a fine concept. But again, with this, you might sometimes run into issues throwing this route, just getting your feet inbounds, not a lot of room to work. And your timing with that concept in general has to be so on time. You really cannot be late with this ball. You can't be early with this ball. You are at risk to throw an interception with this combo. This is where this new trick is going to come into play, because what we're going to do is we are going to turn DeAndre Hopkins into the new outside receiver. You see, when we motion out of a trip set and then pull up the hot routes for Hopkins, this is going to update his routes to outside receiver routes. And it makes sense because what we've effectively done when we zoom out at this formation is turn this formation into basically gun doubles. Now, the wide receiver splits on the twin side are a little bit more compressed, with that outside receiver being a little closer towards the left tackle, but it is the formation alignment of a gun doubles. In fact, what I'm going to do here just to kind of contrast these is I'm going to call gun double Z close. And you're going to see right here that, again, the alignment of this is the same. We've got 2 receivers to one side, 1 receiver, a tight end, and a running back to the other. And again, this outside receiver is obviously going to be the outside receiver hot routes. But again, if I were to run this combo from this wide receiver split with a zig and a deep out route, you're going to see that, again, trying to throw this can be challenging. I mean, you're not really able to throw this underneath of the outside zone, but keep the underneath defender in the flat from picking it off. It's just a little bit of a bear. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to stay in the strip side end, because this motion is going to be quite awesome, because what we could do is put the speed out on the field and take this all the way up to, 10, 15, 20 yards if you want. And then from there, I mean, do whatever you want with the zig route, a streak, whatever you want to do with the rest of the receivers. This is going to allow you to really easily throw this ball into the wide side of the field. You're not going to have to worry about anything. I mean, you see right here how much more room we have to work. We spin the DB's hips and we're up the field for an easy gain. This is the speed out on easy mode. You probably have heard players online say, man, my opponents throw speed outs all the time. If I could throw speed outs like them, I would never lose. Well, maybe a little bit of a stretch. People know how to stop speed outs, but in general, the speed out from this wide receiver split, which is the middle receiver in a trips tight end, is a much harder route to guard because you're not going to be able to get a deep zone, whether it's an outside third in a cover 3, an outside fourth, like you see right here in a cover 4, to defend this. And it's going to get over the top of a slot defender that's playing the flat. So you see number 89 in white here guarding underneath. This is deep enough that we could throw this over his head and lead him into the sideline where we're not worried about what type of catch animation we're going to get. We're going to be able to get 2 feet inbounds pretty consistently. So again, here with this trick, I'm going to motion Metcalf across the formation. I'm going to put the outside receiver on a speed out, and I'm going to custom stem this up as far as I really want to. I mean, don't get so crazy with it that the throw is so long that it's almost impossible. But you might imagine here with something like this, you could actually dress up your route combos. You're officially in the gun doubles meta, which is very, very popular here in this game. So what you could do is, you know, pretty easily step into this throw, rip it into the sideline. I mean, you know that it's going to be wide open, and you see that we're able to pick up a gain of about 30 yards pretty easily with this trick. Now, again, this formation trick applies to any trips formation in which all 3 receivers are away from the offensive tackle. So let's go ahead and get a little bit more off meta with it and call this formation right here known as trips halfback weak. Trips halfback weak, for those that are unfamiliar with the formation, is very, very interesting because we have this very difficult to stop run in the halfback direct. For those that are curious what offensive playbook I'm in, I'm actually in the Seattle Seahawks offense, which is the focus of a lot of my offensive content here on the channel. And you guys can find my full gun bunch tight end game plan on gridirongameplans.gg. I've been in this playbook since the very first week of the year. I've stayed in this to try to master all the little off meta tricks and tips that you guys can employ out of this. You guys can apply a lot of these tricks that I posted here on the YouTube channel into the bunch tight end offense and keep your opponent off balance. You guys can unlock that game plan, every other offensive and defensive game plan on the website, and our weekly updated vault content where we have so many tips, well over 220 tips focused on the meta, or the most effective tactics available, what the pro players are doing, and how to counter it for just $9.95 a month. I update the website weekly. You guys are getting the best deal in the tip space. Make sure you guys hop in our Discord, over 3,000 members. And we're right around the corner from new game season, which means college football 26 deals and Madden 26 pre-sale offers are inbound very, very shortly. So make sure you guys go check it out. Best idea is to take a look and see everything I posted over the course of the last year right now. So that way you guys can make a decision about how you want to lock in Madden 26. I assure you it's going to be a big year. Now let's get back into that trick. So we're in this trips formation, whether it's trips or the trips weak, and we're just gonna run this the wide side of the field. Now, the cool thing about this is, again, there are more than just your standard speed outs, but I will show you that the speed out trick does work. This time, let's call a little bit of a cover 3 defense just to mix it up a little bit. And you'll see here that, again, we pull up Nuke Hopkins hot route tree. It's zigs, it's wheels, it's crosses. We're gonna have the ability here to put him on this speed out and custom stem this all the way up to Narnia. And from there, now we're in a 2x2 spread formation, which is a little bit different. But again, this is cool because we can still set up some unique stuff here. This might be the halfback direct snap. This could be, you know, a 1-play touchdown bomb. We could use the speed out as a pull down route and then use the deep crosser from the B receiver. This is a 1-play touchdown against cover 3 that you guys could run. And of course, like I said, we could just straight up throw the speed out. I mean, it's going to be open, toe tap on the sideline, and we're getting down and out of bounds. But again here, let's run this one more time. This time what I'm going to do is I'm going to utilize a little bit of a different pull down route. This one's going to be the comeback route. So the comeback route is one of the better cover 3 beaters in the game. And as we know, if you guys go streak post comeback route, this allows you to effectively bomb a cover 3. So when we snap this ball, you're going to see that the comeback route on the left is going to pull down that player. I'm just going to kind of show you, see how the B receiver ran wide open. I just wanted to prolong it so you can see how we can mix in the new outside receiver routes to pull down zones. But of course, we have other ways that we can attack as well. Let's go into more of like a hard flat meta, which is what a lot of players will run online. One of the other outside receiver hot routes that is really, really sneaky in a context like this is going to be the smoke route. The smoke route is very similar to what we would do with a hitch pattern, but what we're gonna get out of this is the route doesn't go up the field where a hook zone is gonna be able to get to it. So I wanna kind of contrast some things here. If I were to put like a hitch route on the field from an inside player, like let's say right bumper, What you might notice is that if I run, something like this, there could be a world where a user might get to this or a hook defender would bite down on it. It's not to say you can't throw it, but again, it's kind of in that user area of the field where you have to like stare at the user just a little bit and make sure that they don't bite down on it before you throw it. And then an AI player might get to it. Well, check this part out. What we could do is we could utilize this motion, which turns Hopkins, as we've said time and time again, into the outside receiver. And if you take a look at his hot route tree here, he's got right trigger for the smoke screen route. What this does is it keeps him low underneath of everything. And then from there, all we have to do is send somebody to the flat that will just run outside and pull the flat defender away. From there, now what we've also done is we've pulled the hook zones more so to the passing strength, which is the right side of our field where we have the two receivers and the running back, as opposed to the left side, which is just two receiving options. So when we snap this ball, you're going to see here that this is an easy throw and we can get up the field for a gain. Right there, we picked up 10 yards on a throw that was at the line of scrimmage. And that's the name of the game, is mixing up where your check down options could be. It's not always about the big strike. Now, of course, those are the sexy calls, but again, it's a big deal when you have the ability to kind of mix up unique routes that players aren't used to defending. But those are some of the ways that you guys can utilize this motion trick out of trips to destroy zone coverage. You're going to force your opponents into having to play way more cover 2, or at least utilize those outside players on cloud flats, or to start to shade down their coverage universally to stop the smoke route trick. That's going to open up so many more freestyle options for you. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, make sure you guys check out gridirongameplans.gg as well. Best place to get better at Madden. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another upload. Until then, this is Zan. Get the lab and good luck.